For 9 days, investigators told everyone they had no clues, no suspects, no video, and no idea who walked up to Nancy Guthrie's front door on the night she disappeared from her Tucson home. But the FBI was keeping something secret. And what they just shared could change the whole case. A single black glove found in desert bushes about 2 miles from the 84-year-old's house is now the main focus of this investigation. The FBI said late Saturday that early DNA tests found a genetic profile inside that glove. And according to federal investigators, the glove looks like the same kind worn by the masked person caught on Nancy Guthrie's doorbell camera. The same person who covered that camera at 1:47 in the morning. The same person who, according to investigators, had a gun. The same person who still has no public name. If you want to get why this case has everyone so hooked, even when we're all tired of bad crime news, you have to know what happened in those last hours before Nancy Guthrie vanished. Because nothing in this story has been easy, and this new clue is nothing like what investigators thought they would find. The evening of January 31, 2026 started like so many others for Nancy Guthrie. The 84-year-old ate dinner at her daughter Annie's house in the Catalina foothills, a peaceful area north of Tucson, Arizona. Nancy played cards with family. She laughed. She did the usual things she always did on these visits. Around 9:50 that night, her son-in-law drove her back to her home on East Skyline Drive, a quiet spot surrounded by desert bushes and tall saguaro cacti. Nancy waved goodbye and went inside. That was the last time her family saw her. According to the Pima County Sheriff's Department, Nancy Guthrie was reported missing around noon the next day, February 1st. She didn't show up for church that morning. For a woman her friends called mentally sharp, very independent, and deeply religious, skipping church was impossible to imagine. When family went to her house to check on her, they found something that scared them for weeks. Blood on the front porch. Investigators later said the blood was Nancy's. But there was more. DNA collected from the property didn't match Nancy. It didn't match anyone in her close family. It didn't match anyone investigators could name. That mystery DNA became the first big clue in a case that soon went in directions no one saw coming. For the first several days, investigators hit a dead end. Nancy Guthrie's home had a Google Nest doorbell camera that records when it senses motion. But according to authorities, Nancy didn't have an active paid subscription to the service. Without that subscription, they said the video was impossible to get. Sheriff Chris Nanos told reporters there was no surveillance video to look at. No pictures of what happened that night. The public believed it. The news people believed it, but the FBI did not. Working quietly, federal investigators started talking to Google to get back what everyone thought was lost. They checked behind-the-scenes systems. They looked at leftover data. They searched for tiny digital pieces that might still be on servers even without a paid plan. On February 10th, FBI Director Kash Patel shared something that changed everything about the investigation. The blurry black and white pictures show a person walking up to Nancy Guthrie's front door. They wore a ski mask that covered their whole face, long pants, a zipped-up jacket, dark sneakers, and black gloves that covered their hands completely. On their back was a backpack that investigators later said was a 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker pack, the kind you buy at Walmart. At the waist, in at least one picture, what looked like a gun in a holster sat near the person's crotch area. The person moved carefully. At one moment, they tilted their head down like they were trying to hide from the camera. Then they reached up with a gloved hand and covered the lens. In one short clip, they seemed to use some bush leaves to hide the camera even more. At 1:47 a.m. on February 1st, the camera went offline. 41 minutes later, at 2:28 a.m. an app linked to Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker also went offline. Investigators haven't said exactly what that means in public, but everyone feels the heavy meaning behind it. The pictures the FBI released gave investigators something they really needed, a place to start. The suspect looked like a man, about 5 feet 9 inches to 5 feet 10 inches tall, with an average body. The clothes were all dark. The way he moved was careful, and the way he prepared, the mask, The gloves, covering the camera, made it clear this wasn't random. Former FBI experts who watched the video told reporters this looked like a planned kidnapping. Someone who knew Nancy lived alone, someone who knew her schedule, someone who maybe watched her house before. But knowing that didn't bring Nancy home, and problems kept piling up fast. Within days of Nancy's disappearance, messages claiming to be ransom notes started showing up at news stations. CBS station KOLD in Tucson got one of the first ones. The note asked for payment in Bitcoin. Reports said the total amount was $6 million. The deadline was 5 p.m. on February 9. The FBI said they knew about the messages. They checked if they were real, but they couldn't say for sure if the sender actually had Nancy. Savannah Guthrie, the Today Show co-anchor who hurried to Arizona after her mom went missing, put out a video speaking straight to whoever was behind it. Standing with her brother and sister Annie and Cameron, Savannah looked right into the camera. Her voice stayed calm, but her eyes showed how scared and desperate she felt. She said, "We received your message and we understand. We will pay." The family was ready to give whatever amount was asked. They only wanted proof that their mom was still alive. That proof never came. It got there the next day. By Saturday evening, early results came back. According to the FBI statement, the DNA profile from the glove belongs to an unknown man. Investigators are now waiting for final confirmation before putting that profile into CODIS, the FBI's national DNA database for matching samples. But that's not the only big thing. The FBI confirmed that the glove looks like the ones worn by the suspect in the doorbell camera footage. Same style, same color. It was found in the same general direction the suspect would have gone after leaving Nancy Guthrie's property. For investigators who spent 2 weeks following tips and talking to possible suspects, this is the first real physical evidence that connects a place to the masked person in that video. If the DNA in that glove matches anyone in CODIS, authorities will have a name. And if it matches DNA from Nancy Guthrie's property, they will know for sure the person in the video was inside her home. The question everyone keeps asking is the same one Savannah Guthrie has asked since February 1, where is Nancy? According to someone who knows the investigation well, federal authorities now think this case might have started as a burglary that went bad. The source told reporters many investigators believe Nancy could still be alive. That idea would explain some of the strange parts that confused people. The ransom note looked sloppy and not well planned. No proof of life came even though the family offered to pay. The way the suspect acted on camera gave clues. He covered the lens with leaves, tilted his head to stay off video, and carried a backpack that looked better for hiking than for kidnapping. If the person broke in thinking the house was empty or an easy steal, finding an 84-year-old woman inside might have caused panic. Things got out of control faster than the intruder expected. Now, whoever did it might be keeping Nancy hidden instead of asking for ransom. This is just a guess. Investigators haven't said this theory out loud, but it would explain why 2 ransom deadlines passed with no follow-up. It would also explain why they are moving so fast on this glove find. If Nancy is still alive, time is running out fast. Authorities worry about her health. Nancy needs medicine every day. She has a pacemaker. She has high blood pressure and other heart problems. Every day she's missing is another day without her medicine. For Savannah Guthrie, the last 2 weeks have been pure public pain. The Today Show host stopped all her work, even covering the 2026 Winter Olympics in Italy, to stay in Tucson. She posted video after video on Instagram, begging anyone who knows anything to speak up. In her latest message on February 15, Savannah spoke straight to whoever has her mother. "It is never too late," she said. "You are not lost or alone. It is never too late to do the right thing." Her voice stayed strong. Her words were gentle and careful. "We still have hope," she went on. "We still believe. We believe in the essential goodness of every human being." Behind her, no family showed up, no siblings, no police, just Savannah alone in the frame, talking to someone she's never met about a mother she fears she might never see again. The FBI is offering up to $100,000 as a reward for information that leads to Nancy's location or the arrest of anyone involved in her disappearance. The Pima County Sheriff's Department asked people living within a 2-mile area of Nancy's home to upload any surveillance video from the past month. More than 30,000 tips have come in since February 1st. Investigators say they check every single one, but so far none have brought Nancy home. The DNA profile from that glove will go into the CODIS database in the next 24 hours, as long as final checks confirm the early results. If there's a match, investigators could have a name by the end of the week. If no match shows up, that profile stays in the system. Waiting for a future hit. Waiting for the day someone with that DNA gets arrested for something else or gets noticed by police. That's how some old unsolved cases finally get solved. A DNA sample waits in a database for years, even decades, until a match appears. But Nancy Guthrie doesn't have years. Her family doesn't have decades. And whoever dropped that glove in the desert, 2 miles from the home of an 84-year-old woman who vanished in the middle of the night, left behind something they can never get back. Their identity, held in skin cells stuck in the fabric, waiting for federal investigators to finish their tests. The FBI hasn't said the name of the lab doing the testing. They haven't said how long final confirmation will take. They've only said they're waiting for official results. For now, the investigation keeps going. Authorities are still searching. Tips are still coming in and getting checked. Forensics teams are still studying evidence from different places. And somewhere, an 84-year-old woman is still missing. If you have any information about Nancy Guthrie's whereabouts, authorities want you to call 1-800-CALL-FBI or send tips through the FBI website. The Pima County Sheriff's Department can be reached at 520-351-4900. Someone out there knows something, and time might be running out. If this case has taught us anything, it's that nothing stays hidden forever. The doorbell video was supposed to be gone. Investigators got it anyway. The suspect was supposed to stay invisible. Now we know their rough height, their build, and the backpack they carried. The gloves were supposed to leave no trace. But one ended up in a field 2 miles away with DNA still there. Every step that person took, everything they threw away, every choice they made that night, all of it is being put back together by federal investigators using tools and tech that didn't exist years ago. Oh, the question isn't whether they'll find evidence anymore. The question is whether they'll find Nancy in time.